Is up, ladder climbers? Antoine Wade here from Elevate to the Unknown, the Way Report, and NextGenHikes.com. And it is Tuesday, December the 2nd, 2025, 7 a.m. Central. We are live on the Daily Climb. I got a number that'll make you sick. 31%. That's how many companies are laying off workers right now through Christmas. Not January, not after the holidays, during the holidays, during Thanksgiving, all the way to the New Year's. Y'all, people are getting the pink slips while shopping for their kids' Christmas presents. Okay, here's the part that will really make you mad. 82%. That's how many of those same companies still paying executive bonuses. Let me say that again. 31% laying you off before Christmas. 82% still paying the executives their big bonuses at the end of the year. Okay? But wait, it gets worse. 74% of these companies admitted the layoffs could have waited. They said it out loud in a survey. Yeah, we could have done this in January, but we are doing it now. That's what they're saying. But we are doing it now. We could have waited, but we are doing it now. Now, why? Well, 42% said to avoid paying your bonus. 35% said to avoid paying your pay time off. They are firing you before Christmas so they don't have to pay you what you earned. Don't you got your type bonus if they're stealing what's yours? Type bonus in the chat. Yesterday, Newell Brands. That's the Yankee candle brand, and the Rubbermaid brand, and the Sharpie and the Elmer's glue brand. They fired 900 people. FedEx, 856 people. Omnicron, 4,000 people, all on December the 1st. While they're cutting you before the holidays to avoid paying your bonus, IBM CEO said something yesterday that explains everything that's going on right now in the AI world. $8 trillion. That's how much companies spent on AI. Here's this quote. He says, there's no way you're getting a return on that. The math doesn't work, he says, and you are paying the price. You, on the other side of this screen, are paying the price. Guys, this is the Daily Climb. It is Tuesday, December the 2nd. Today, I'm showing you why companies are panicking. For real people published in the Business Insider. One learned, one got hired at Google, one got laid off at Meta, 9 months, still broke. One used strategy and landed at Amazon. One sacrificed everything, worth $25 million today at 22, and your actions for December. These are going to be 3 deadlines coming up for this month. I want you guys to climb with me today, okay? It is Tuesday. Let's see who's all in the house. Jason's in the house. Good to see you. Big Sug's in the house. The Life of Cam's in the house. Ant Dog is in the house. Good to see you. Listen, more talk less morning, all the way from rainy Atlanta. You know, you're in Atlanta and we are in San Antonio, and it's raining here too. It's cold, 34 degrees outside. It's unlike Texas this time of the year, and the cold here is brutal. I'm talking about like it's so damp, like the humidity is so high and doesn't feel good. Good to see you, Erica. Good to see you, Prescott. Thank you guys so much for joining me this morning. Let's have a good show. Let's move on to segment 1. All right. So it's Tuesday, December the 2nd, 2025, and I need to tell you why companies are cutting before Christmas. That's what we're going to be talking about. All right. Why companies are cutting before Christmas. IBM, their CEO, Arvind Krishna. All right. He's been at IBM since 1990. Been there for a long time, 35 plus years. Became the CEO in 2020. He was on a podcast this week called The Decoder. And he said something that basically destroys the whole AI hype. Let me walk you through the math, okay? To build one data center for AI, that's 1 gigawatt of power, it costs $80 billion. All right? Check that math out. $80 billion. That's a lot of money. Okay? Now, companies around the world have committed to building 100 gigawatts. Okay? Do the math. 80 billion times 100 equals $8 trillion. Okay? It's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. All right? And yeah, it doesn't sound real at all when you think about the numbers that's behind this stuff. It doesn't sound real. And it to me, it doesn't make sense. Now, here's where IBM CEO drops the bomb. He says this: if you are going to commit $8 trillion on CapEx, that means you need roughly $800 billion of profit just to pay for the interest, not to make money, not to get a return, just to pay the interest on the loans. He says this: it is my view that there's no way you are going to get a return on that. There's no way. I want you guys to type no way in the chat if the IBM CEO just destroyed the AI narrative. Type no way in the chat. Okay? Now, everybody's betting on AI, specifically AGI. That's artificial general intelligence. That's when AI can do everything that a human does, but better. Sam Altman, OpenAI, says we're almost there, and companies are betting trillions on it. IBM CEO said this: I'm not convinced that the current set of technologies will get us to AGI. Now, what's the probability with today's tech? He says 0 to 1%. 0 to 1%. That's what he says. But companies, they keep spending. Google announced yesterday they are building data centers in space. Sundar Pichai on Fox News on Sunday, he said this: in 2027, we'll send tiny racks of machines in satellites, space data centers powered by the sun. Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella said this week: the entire weekend, I spent all my time trying to understand how new companies are building products. The CEO of Microsoft has said he's spending his weekends studying startups. Now, why? Why is he spending his weekends studying startups? Well, he says Microsoft's vast size has become a massive disadvantage. So you got to think about it. Even the winners are struggling. You got a big company like Microsoft, all these big companies, Google and all these other big tech companies, even they are struggling. When you have the CEO trying to figure out how startups are doing it, even winners are struggling. Okay? Now, let me connect the dots for you guys. Companies spent trillions on AI. IBM CEO says the math don't work. They're not getting their money back. So what do they do? What do they do, guys? Put it in the chat what you think they're going to do. And what do you think they're doing? Cut you. That's what they're doing. They got to show investors, look, we're saving money. We're cutting costs. Resume.org surveyed 1,008 business leaders. 74% of companies are planning holiday layoffs. Said the cuts could have definitely or probably waited. But they are not waiting. Why? Why aren't they waiting? 74% said cost cutting before Q1. 42% said avoiding bonus payouts. 35% said avoiding unused paid time off. So they are firing you before Christmas so they don't have to pay your year-end bonus. So they don't have to pay your PTO you earn. That's what they're doing. Ain't that something? I want you guys to type stealing in the chat if that feels like what it is. And yeah, that is what it is. Okay. Let me give you the numbers for this year. 1.09 million of workers have been laid off in 2025 through October. That's up 65% from last year. Worst year for layoffs since 2009. And I'm going to continue to say it so it puts it in your head that nobody's safe in these days, especially when this amount of money is being spent on technology that is not going to have a return on investment. The tech sector, 118,000 people cut. October alone, 18,005 people. Okay? It's a lot of people. Yesterday, guess what happened? Newer brands. That's Yankee Candle. That's Rubbermaid. That's Sharpie. That's Elmer. Check what they did.
Some big changes are coming at Atlanta-based Newell Brands. The company is behind several big-name brands like Rubbermaid, Crock-Pot, Sunbeam, Sharpie, and a whole lot more. And now they're cutting more than 900 jobs and closing 20 Yankee Candle stores. Most of the U.S. job cuts will hit offices and clerical positions this month, while international reductions will continue into next year. The store closures account for 1% of the brand's sales, and they are set for January.
You heard it. Fired 900 people on yesterday. FedEx, they fired 856 people. Omnicron, 4,000 people. UPS over this year, 48,000 people. Intel, 24,000. Nissan, 20,000. Nestle, 16,000. Verizon, 15,000. Amazon, 14,000. Microsoft, 7,000. And now 31% of companies are cutting before Christmas, while 82% are still paying their executive bonuses. I want you guys to type broken in the chat if the system feels broken. Type it in the chat. All right, so you found it. You understand now. Companies are panicking because they spent $8 trillion on AI. That won't pay off. So they are cutting, and they are cutting you before Christmas to save money. But 4 people published in Business Insider today show different paths. One learned, one lost, one strategized, one sacrificed everything. Guys, we're going to talk about this in the next segment, okay? Stay with me on this next segment. Guys, welcome to the Daily Climb. It is Tuesday, December the 2nd. Business Insider published 4 career stories this morning. Real names, real ages, and real outcomes. And I'm about to show you all 4. All right. Let's talk about Matri Mangal. 26 years old, software engineer at Google, based in New York. Business Insider published her story at 4:31 a.m. today, this morning. All right. This is the young lady right here, smiling, looking like she's making a whole bunch of money, ain't it? 3 years at Google. She changed roles 3 times. Most recently, she switched to Workspace AI, the Workspace AI team. But it didn't happen overnight. It took her 1 year. Spring 2024, she started creating tech content on Instagram and LinkedIn. That's when the upskilling started. This is what she said. I typically take courses for about 2 hours a day. 2 hours every day for 7 months. Google's internal courses, Coursera Introduction to Generative AI, Google Prompting Essentials, concepts like linear regression and vector analysis. This is what she said. I want you guys to type 2 hours in the chat if that's dedication. But here's the key part. She said, in order to absorb the material, I had to talk about it. Not just read about it, not just do the lessons online. I had to talk about it. And when I verbalized the concepts through making content, It helped me to understand the material. She couldn't just read and watch videos and take quizzes online. She had to teach it. And by making content about AI, she forced herself to understand it. January 2025, after 7 months. Okay? This is 7 months after she started reskilling or upskilling. She started applying to AI teams at Google. March, she landed a new job. Workspace AI team at Google. She says this, I still spend about an hour a day upskilling. She's still learning every single day. I want you guys to type Maytree in the chat if that's the path that you are taking. That's the path that you're taking. Type it in the chat. Okay? Now we're going to talk about Brittany. Came across this one as well. Brittany Ball, 36 years old, Washington, D.C. Business Insider published her story at 4:25 a.m. this morning. Brittany, she got hired at Meta in 2020 as a documentation engineer. She was a single mom in a homeless shelter once, taught herself how to code, broke into tech without a college degree. Getting hired at Meta meant everything to her. She said this, I represented safety and stability, a place to work hard at and retire from. I really believed that I'd stay at Meta forever. This is what Brittany said. Okay. February 2025 comes around. Brittany gets laid off, part of a round of targeting low performers. This is what she said. I was shocked, especially since I was part of a round of layoffs targeting low performers. I was always so proud of my work. I just didn't think I fell in that category. That's what Brittany said. She was shocked. She was so proud of her work. She didn't think she belonged in the low performer category. 9 months later, her severance and savings have run dry. She's struggling to find a tech job. Okay, she's struggling to find a tech job. I want to show you guys a bit of a video of somebody that was in a similar position here. Not Brittany, but in a very similar position. Take it out, take a look out the CNBC Make It video that I came across, and we're going to fast forward through a couple of these.
When I got laid off, I felt kind of numb and shocked at the same time. I had bought my house not even a year before being laid off. I was like panicking. I was very, very scared. Now that I'm like 10 months into this journey, I feel like this year my brain has been like rewired around how I see money. Every month I've still been able to pay all of my bills. I've never had a late payment on anything. I'm just like really surprised.
I love that she said that. Every month, I've been able to pay my bills. I haven't been able to, or I haven't missed a payment. And she's surprised that she's able to do it. Now, the question is, how is she able to do such a thing? How is she able to do such a thing? We're going to find out in this video. Let's see if we can get to it.
By how I've been able to be resourceful this year. My name is Simone Austin. I'm 33 years old. I live in North Carolina. And even after being laid off in January, I've been able to cover my mortgage every month without a full-time job. Hey everybody, welcome back. It is the beginning of a new month, which means it is time to do my budget for the month. I have been documenting my personal finance decisions online on my YouTube channel for several years at this point. My YouTube channel is monetized in multiple ways. The main one is ad revenue. Another is sponsorships or brand deals. Overall this year, I've been able to make around $21,000 through YouTube.
How was she able to pay her bills? Make it work after getting laid off for 10 months? The man Ant Dog said it. I'm subscribed to her channel. That YouTube money rolling in now. Content. content creation. What got Matri hired at Google? Learning, documenting her content, documenting her learning process through content. That is the new world, guys. That is the new world that we live in today. That's what's going to get you hired. That's what's going to get you notified. That's going to get you notarized. That's going to get you more subscribers. That's going to make you money. That's the world that we live in today. Learning and documenting your journey. She got laid off for 10 months. Now, through October 2025, her YouTube channel pulled in $21,000. You got laid off. Wouldn't it be pretty awesome if you had some sort of backup to be able to take care of your main mortgage? At least keep your house, maybe a car or two, pay the bills. Not only that, you're teaching people what everybody ultimately wants to do in life. I feel this. Okay? I love the fact that we're seeing two individuals who, one, they use the situation of content to land a job at Google by upskilling 2 hours a day and then putting out content to teach other people and to not only that, reinforce her learning. You got another one whose the situation wasn't as good for her, but she leveraged content while she was working, and then her YouTube channel started to hit. Made her $21,000. We're going to listen to a little bit more, and then we're going to move on.
On average, I've been able to get like around $2,000 a month. Before I was laid off, I was working as a UX content designer, and my annual salary was $131,000 a year.
$131,000 a year to $21,000 a year on YouTube. Now, I got to say, YouTube full time, it ain't easy. You can make a whole bunch of money on YouTube. You can make more than $134,000 a year, but don't expect for you to make it that in a short amount of time. It's not how it works. She had a UX design job paying her $134,000 a year, and now her YouTube channel is pulling in $21,000 up until October 2025. That's all she made. Now, of course, there's other revenue sources that's coming in because I got a chance to watch some of his videos. YouTube was only a certain part of her revenue. She had affiliates and all this other stuff, partnerships that she's created and partnered with to give her a little bit more revenue. But it's all based on the YouTube platform. So here's the deal, guys. You got to have a backup plan. You have to be able to put yourself out there. You have to be able to get on camera. That's the only way that you're going to meet people. That's the only way that you're going to build a new network. You have to be bold. That's the way to go about doing it. And you see two people who've leveraged it in multiple ways, in multiple other stories that you've heard on this channel of people leveraging content to either position themselves into a company, to position themselves as a side hustle, position themselves as their own business, to position themselves as a media company. You see it. You're hearing about it. Okay. Now let's go back to Brittany. She got labeled as a low performer. Part of the reason that she lost her job. And she thinks that the label is following her. She's been applying to jobs mostly at smaller tech companies and no offers yet. This is what she says. I have the skills and passion, so I'm unsure of what the problem is. Her parents and partner have been helping her pay the bills and groceries. She says this, I've always been the independent type who doesn't ask for help, but I've learned that I can't always do it alone. I want you guys to type Brittany in the chat if her story breaks your heart. But here's the thing. She didn't give up. She created her own tech startup, TechniDocs, an AI-powered documentation platform. This is what she says. It really began as a way to distract myself, but it's gained some traction. She also enrolled at Trinity University, working towards a dual degree in journalism and computer science. This is what she also says. Even though I haven't landed a job, I remind myself that this is also happening to so many other people. The job market is hard, but I'm not giving up. The question for you all is, what else is it that Brittany should be doing? I love the fact that she created an AI-powered documentation platform. Absolutely fantastic. But one of the best things that she can do right now is to turn on the camera and talk. Her story would be absolutely remarkable because there are going to be so many people that's going to support her if she would just talk and open herself up online. People will start to ask about her software that she's creating, the AI-powered documentation platform. They would want to know a little bit more about that. Maybe they will become an investor. Who knows? She could be documenting exactly how she's going about creating the platform, what it's like going to school, what it's like having the support of your partner and your parents to buy your groceries while you are laid off. These are all things that will connect people because people are going through the same exact thing, especially during this time of the holidays. Turn on the camera, Brittany. Turn on the camera. Let's move on to someone else. Okay, let's move on to someone else. I got another story for you all. Subham Malhotra, a software engineer at Amazon. Business Insider published his story at 4:05 a.m. this morning. He landed roles at Amazon, Microsoft, and Salesforce. How? Well, 5 proven strategies. And he shared that with us. Strategy number 1, take initiative during internships. He did internships at Salesforce in the summer in 2021, at Amazon, at AWS in the fall of 2021, but he didn't just do intern tasks. He asked his manager, a senior engineer, this question: what's a real reliability or latency problem on the critical path that no one has had time to fix yet? Then he'd volunteer to own a slice of it. That's what he said. He says, I was already solving latency and error tolerance issues that directly affected customers in operational SLAs. Real work, not busy work. That's what he said. Strategy number 2, write a resume that works for both ATS and humans. He used LaTeX via Overleaf to create a clean, technical resume optimized for parsing and readability. He tailored keywords for each role, emphasized cloud computing, distributed systems, back-end engineering. Every bullet focused on measurable outcomes, reduced data, latency by 40%, streamlined workflows to cut API response time by 25%. Strategy 3, he said, the time to market as a new grad. He began his application process early around August. From August to mid-November, companies filled the bulk of their headcount for the next year. That's the time that they're hiring and looking for new people. From August through November. What quarter is that? Q3, Q4, right? So he signed his Microsoft offer in October 2021. His Amazon offer was also finalized in October. Strategy: scale interview prep to role-specific challenges. That was just strategy number 4. Make sure that you scale your interview prep to the role-specific challenges. He prepped for coding interviews. He used LeetCode, CodeChef, and HackerRank. He used the STAR method for behavior rounds. He ramped up preparation using white papers, books, and real-world architecture case studies. Strategy number 5, he says, don't take shortcuts. And here's the big one. Instead of relying on referrals, he cold applied and followed up via LinkedIn with tailored pitches. Now that's something that's different. But I completely understand it because he's new, coming into the world where he doesn't have a network. So he cold applied. And what he did was he used LinkedIn with tailored pitches. So it showed that he was going the extra mile. This is what he said. He said, I lean heavily on concise, personalized emails and LinkedIn messages to recruiters. Most of my serious interview loops, including the one that led to my current offer, started from that outreach rather than just submitting an application and hoping. Cold emails worked better than referrals for him. This is what he said. Okay? I thought this was a good one because this is a different form here, a different, in a different generation as well too. Somebody coming out of college into this tech world and how he was able to go about getting a job. I thought it was funny. I thought it was awesome because one, he went the cold route and it worked for him. It worked for him. Now let's talk about Emily Barr, 22 years old from Ohio. Business Insider published his study or his story at 7 a.m. this morning. That's why I was doing a little bit of research before this show, before I jumped on. But he's worth over $20 million at 22. He built his first company, Step Up Social, from his dorm room during his sophomore year in his junior year at Miami University. 2021 and 2022. Okay? He wrote an op-ed for the Wall Street Journal in August. He said, maintaining a work-life balance will keep you mediocre. That's what he said. God dang. He says thousands of comments beneath the article. People called him a crazy. People called him a jerk. People call him all kinds of names because he said that. But here's what he did. He said this: I slept 3.5 hours on average each night. I skipped classes. I lost friends. I gained 80 pounds. That's what he said. 3.5 hours of sleep, 80 pounds that he gained. Why? He says, I ate a lot of cheeseburgers and cookies to survive working until 3 a.m. In my college town, the only places open after midnight were the cookie store and the cheeseburger joint. This is what he said. He said he missed most major events. He missed Christmas. He missed Thanksgiving from 2020, 2021, 2022, and 2023. He says this: I always thought that I would spend more time with my family once I had achieved some degree of financial freedom. Guess what Step Up Social was worth? $15 million when he exited last year. His second business, FlashPass, an employee upskilling platform, is now valued at $50 million. His total net worth over 2025, guess what it is? Over $28 million at just 22 years old. I want you guys to do me a favor in the chat. You listen to this story and you hear it. What are your feelings on it? I want you guys to type sacrifice if that's too much. I want you guys to type worth it if you do it. Okay? Type worth it if you would do it. 22 years old, doesn't have a family, doesn't have a wife, doesn't have a kid. He was in college. I think it was worth it. This is what he said: I would make the same choices again. This was not 15 years of not seeing my family or becoming chronically obese. This was a very concentrated 24 months of real effort that started with me as an 18-year-old with no money and ended with me being a multi-millionaire. 24 months, 18 till a millionaire. He said most of his relationships didn't survive. Says, I find college relationships inherently superficial anyway, with very little business yield and far less personal yield than people think. I want you guys to think about that, your time in college. And if that makes sense to you. Now he works 100 hours a week, gets up 8:30 a.m., works with minimal break until 6 p.m., then spends 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. with family and friends, then works until 1 a.m. This is what he said. Financial freedom has also enabled me to have a more flexible travel schedule. I've also been able to gift my family things like cars. This is what he said. 4 people. Business Insider published stories on them today. Maitre learned 2 hours a day, got Googled certifications, got hired at Google on the AI team. Brittany, she was cut by Meta, 9 months broke, started her own startup. Shubham used strategy, cold calls, cold emails, landed at Amazon. Emo, like I want to call him Emily, name is Emo, but he sacrificed everything for a full 24 months. Now he's worth over $28 million. 4 paths, same economy, different outcomes. Okay? In this next segment, I'm going to show you what big tech is doing right now. Companies like Instagram, they're talking about return to the office. What Satya Nadella is talking about, studying startups on weekends. Baidu and their massive layoffs. I want you guys to stay with me in this next segment, okay? In this segment right here, I'm going to show you what big tech is doing right now. Instagram chief Adam Mosseri, he sent a memo on December the 1st, which was yesterday. This is what the subject said. Building a winning culture in 2026. Business Insider got the full memo. Starting February 2nd of 2026, all U.S. staff in Instagram with assigned desks must come to the office 5 days a week. A full-time 5 days. This is his quote. I believe that we are more creative and collaborative when we are together in person. I felt this pre-COVID, and I feel it anytime I go to our New York office where the in-person culture is strong. February 2nd, that's 2 months from now. But here's what's interesting. This is only Instagram. This is not Facebook, not WhatsApp, not other meta divisions, just Instagram. I want you guys to type 5 days in the chat if that's a lot. This is what he said. You will still have the flexibility to work from home when you need to. I trust you all to use your best judgment in figuring out how to adapt to this schedule. So 5 days, but you can work from home when you need to. Question is, what's that mean? Nobody really knows. Okay? The memo also said this: every 6 months, they'll cancel all reoccurring meetings, only to re-add the ones that are absolutely necessary. This is what it also said. We all spend too much time in meetings that are not effective, and it's slowing us down. And this, most product overviews should be prototypes instead of decks. Kind of makes sense, right? He says, I want most of your time focused on building great products, not preparing for meetings. So 5 days in the office, fewer meetings, more building. What a change. Well, 2026 is going to be tough, as was 2025, he says. These changes are going to meaningfully help us move Instagram forward in a way that we can all be proud of. Now, to me, I would translate this to mean they are behind. They are behind the competition. So they're doing their best right now to catch up. So now you got to move faster. That's what it sounds like to me. Let me know what you guys think about that in the chat. Now, Satya Nadella, Microsoft, did an interview on MD Meets podcast on Saturday. And here's what he said. He said, this entire weekend, I spent all the time trying to get myself to understand how new companies are building products. The CEO of Microsoft is spending his weekends studying startups. Why? Well, Microsoft, their vast size has become a massive disadvantage. A massive disadvantage, he says. Okay? Big companies. What happens when companies become too big? They don't move as fast. This is what he says. At young companies, everyone involved in product development, scientists, engineers, infrastructure teams, is all sitting in one little table. They're able to make decisions on product, on the science, in the infrastructure, and iterate instantly. At Microsoft, he says this, I have 3 divisional heads who manage those 3 things, 3 layers of bureaucracy, while startups have 1 table. That is why he's spending weekends studying them. This is what he also says, that the most important skill set for long-term relevance is how do you be a learn-it-all and not know-it-all. You will have to unlearn the things that made you successful to learn something new. Even Nadella at the top says you got to keep learning. To the young lady who spent 2 hours a day learning, creating content, pretty awesome, ain't it? You know what's cool about this show that I do in the morning? I learn for an hour or 2 every single day as well. By doing the research, get prepared for the show, and then speaking about it. It's an hour every single day of learning. Let's talk about Baidu. Let's talk about Baidu. Baidu, a Chinese tech giant. On yesterday, they began a major workforce reduction. Multiple business units affected. Cuts ranging from 10% to 25%. Some departments seen reductions of nearly 30%. Some teams face potential cuts up to 40%. Severance packages reportedly reach as high as, 3.5 million. So that's years of service plus 3.5 months of salary. This marks Baidu's largest workforce contraction in recent years. This is happening in China right now. So this isn't just, some US company that's laying people off. This is also international companies as well. China. Okay. HP Computer and print giant, November the 25th, they announced 4,000 to 6,000 job cuts getting cut by 2028. That's about 10% of their 58,000 person workforce. The CEO, Enrique Lores, said this, the cuts will be primarily around the product development department, customer support, and internal operations. The reason? AI. So the company expects $1 billion in gross savings over 3 years by implementation of AI. So they're firing up to 6,000 people to save $1 billion, and it'll cost them $65 million to do it. Okay. The demand for AI enabled PCs has surged to over 30% of HP's fourth quarter shipments. So they are selling AI computers while using AI to cut workers. That's basically what's happening. Now I want to connect all this. Instagram, 5 days back in the office because the competition is catching up. You got Nadella, the head of Microsoft, studying startups on weekends because Microsoft is too slow. You got Baidu cutting 10 to 40% of their teams. You got HP cutting 6,000 for AI. You got IBM saying $8 trillion won't pay off. Every company is using the same playbook. Sell AI products, use AI to cut workers, pay executives bonuses, repeat. And 31% are doing it before Christmas, while 82% are still paying executive bonuses. And they can wait till after the holidays. But that's not what they're choosing to do because they don't want to. So what do? You upskill. You teach others how to do the things that you know how to do. You make your own media company. You become the person that's implementing AI at another company. That's what you do. Now, real quick, if you guys are getting value from this content, make sure you hit like on the video. Okay? If you want to go deeper in any of this that we talked about, better strategy on how to get hired, cold emails, the 6-figure blueprint, check out the Patreon, www.patreon.com/Black Heights. Okay? You get access to early content. You get access to Saturday community calls. You get direct access to me. You get templates. You get checklists. You get all that. And if you're serious about positioning yourself for 2026, check it out. Okay? So we just talked about Instagram, 5 days, return to the office. We talked about Satya Nadella studying startups and Baidu with these massive cuts, HP cutting 6,000, all of all of this for AI. IBM CEO saying basically that all this money being spent towards the infrastructure of AI, it isn't going to have a return on investment. You hear in the news about companies or the leaders of these companies deciding when they are going to lay people off. And they have a choice. Okay. In this next segment, we're going to be talking about the economic reality. All right. That's what we're going to be talking about now. The economic reality. This isn't something that you're going to hear in the news very much. You're not going to hear it on CNBC. You're not going to hear it on Bloomberg. You're not going to hear it on any of the other main channels. But the national survey just came out, and 95% of workers say their wages have not kept up with inflation. 95%. Okay? That's almost everybody. Only 9% have received a raise or a salary adjustment to offset the higher cost of living. 9% of people, that's it. So 95% of people are falling behind, they said. That's how they feel. That's what they said. And only 9% are getting help. 76% say recent economic policies have directly affected their financial planning. 94% identify groceries as the fastest rising expense. It's not rent, it's not cars, but they said it's groceries. 73% of workers cannot afford anything beyond essential expenses. That's 73%. Okay? Now here's the breakdown. 75% have cut non-essential spending. 75% have accessed savings to cover essentials. 58% delayed major purchases like a home or a car. 56% are actively searching for higher paying jobs. 55% reduced contributions to retirement or emergency funds. 42% took on new debt. That's the reality. That's the reality. Consumer prices, they remain 2020 or 22.5% higher than in February 2020. So everything cost 22% more than it did 5 years ago. But your pay didn't go up. And it didn't go up 22%. Okay? That's the numbers. That's the reality. I want to talk about Gen Z now. Let me show you what's happening to young people. 25.3%. That's the unemployment rate for college graduates ages 25 and up. Got to think about that. As a percentage of all unemployed people, 25.3%. That's more than double since 2008. That was when we had the financial crisis. Recent grads, ages 22 to 27, 9.3% unemployed. That's the highest outside of the pandemic since 2014. So young college graduates ages 23 to 27, 4.9% are unemployed, up from 3.5 in 2019. U.S. Senator Mark Warner, he's a Democrat from Virginia. He issued a warning this month. He said this: unemployment for recent college graduates could surge 25% within the next 2 to 3 years. That's 25%. 1 in 4 college graduates unemployed, causing a level of social disruption that's unprecedented. The Federal Reserve Bank of New York described the scenario as the perfect storm for college graduates. Now, here's the worst part. The National Association of College and Employers, they surveyed employers about the class of 2026, the people graduating next year. Over 50% of employers consider the job market for the class of 2026 to be poor or fair. God dang. The most negative perspective since the pandemic's first year. Employers project only 1.6% increase in hiring for the class of 2026. That's 1.6%. Just imagine that. You go to college, you're supposed to be graduating in 2026, or you got a kid who's going to be graduating next year. Very little chance that they're going to get a job. Let me give you the forecast for next year. Indeed, the job site, they released their 2026 jobs and hiring trends report. Here's what they're saying. GDP growth, 1.8%. Unemployment rate, 4.4%. Job creation, about 50,000 new jobs per month. The low hire, low fire labor market is expected to persist. Low hire, low fire. That means companies not hiring much, but also not firing tons. Except they are firing 1.09 million this year and 31% cutting before Christmas. So the low hire or the low fire part, it ain't really true because the firing is definitely happening. Job openings are poised to stabilize, but may not grow much. Unemployment rate is likely to rise, but not alarmingly so. So GDP growth, it looks to remain positive, but somewhat anemic, they're saying. Basically, they're saying is that it's not going to be terrible, but it ain't going to be great. And this is going to be for another year. So just imagine how you're feeling right now in the job market. Based on what Indeed and everybody else is saying right now, next year ain't going to look much better. That's what's being said. Next year is not going to look much better. Okay? So another year of meh, or depending on what your situation is, God dang, terrible. Okay? Do me a favor. If you're getting value from this show. If the 31% holiday layoffs, 82% in executive bonuses open your eyes, if the discussions about Brittany and Shubham and ML stories gave you a different perspective, make sure you hit the like button. Do it right now. Hit the subscribe button as well. Hit the notification bell if you're new to this channel. We go live every single weekday, 7 a.m. Central, Monday through Friday. Okay? I want you guys to share this with somebody who needs to hear it. Somebody who's job searching. Somebody scared about layoffs. Somebody who thinks that the system is working just fine. Show them this. Show them this video. Okay? Let's make a transition to what we can do about it, because we're not going to talk about all this stuff and not give you solutions here. I already gave you some solutions, but let me give you some actions. The solutions are what you learned from the individuals who we talked about, the MOs, right? The Subums. Those are the solutions. Those are the things that you could be doing right now yourself. Let's talk about actions now. I got 3 opportunities for this month. Deadline 1, December the 9th, 7 days from now. Okay. Santander and Coursera partnership. 50,000 adults across 13 countries getting free year-long access to over 80 Coursera courses, free. Leadership, innovation, data-driven decision-making, marketing, artificial intelligence, languages, all of that. Registration deadline, December the 9th. You don't need a university degree. You don't need to be a Santander customer. Applications accepted through Santander Open Academy. Type Santander in the chat or type Santander in your search, and then you can start applying to that. Okay. Santander is spelled S-A-T-S-A-N-T, A-N-D-E-R. Okay. Deadline number 2, December the 15th, 13 days from now. Microsoft Ignite Challenge. Complete one of 9 Ignite certifications or challenges and submit the entry form by December the 15th. All right. Deadline number 3, March 15th, 2026, AWS certification promotion. 25% discount on any AWS certification exams plus free retakes if you don't pass on the first attempt. Valid through March 15th for the initial exam. Free retakes available until March 31st. Check those out. Those are your actions. Okay. You guys already know why certifications matter. Person View 2025, the value of IT certifications report. 32% of candidates received salary increases after earning a certification. Of those who got pay increases, 56% were rewarded within 3 months, 83% within 6 months. So most pay increases range from 6 and 20%. You want to get paid, ultimately, get a certification, continue to show that you are upskilling. You want to get a job, show that you're upskilling, create some content around it. Doesn't have to be video, but that's the great way of doing it. Shows your authenticity. Skills-based hiring is up 85%. All right. Companies are dropping degree requirements, certifications, content. It proves that you have the skills. And you don't have to go out there and spend 4 years and hundreds of thousands of dollars on a degree anymore. That simple. So here's your reality. 31% of companies are cutting before Christmas. 82% are still paying executive bonuses. IBM CEO says $8 trillion won't pay off. 95% of workers' wages haven't kept up. Gen Z, 25.3% are unemployed. 2026 outlook, the continuation of the low hire, low fire economy. That's it. You got 2 choices. You choose one. You learn, like Matry, spend, a couple hours a day for months. Start now. And you can be working at a company where they'll be paying you a lot of money, like she is working at Google on the AI Google workspace team. You can be like Subham, Use the cold email strategy, or you can be like Marcus and use the warm email strategy or LinkedIn cold outreach strategy. Or you can use choice 2, the coast. Like the 57% using AI secretly and not telling their boss. Eventually you're going to get caught. Okay. Or you can be like Brittany, right? Go 9 months unemployed, not learning anything. Okay. You got a path. You got a choice. Learn or coast. The option should be to learn and do that real quick. Continue to learn and put it out there. You can help somebody else learn. It will help you become a better teacher. And real quick, before I close out, if you want all this research that we did for this show on today's show delivered to your inbox every single day, Monday through Friday, sign up for the newsletter. It is in the top link in the description of this video. I send the newsletter out at 11:30 Central, 11:30 a.m. Central, every single day, weekday that we go live on the show. And it's basically a recap of everything that we talk about on the show so that you have it in your inbox so that you can read through it. You can click on the links and all that sort of stuff. Okay. And guess what? Most people read it. Over 40% open that email and read it. Okay. Has links and everything inside of it. Check it out. Link in the description of this video. You get a full recap in your inbox of today's show at 11:30 a.m. Click the description, sign up right now. All right. Guys, this is Tuesday, December the 2nd, 2025. 31% of employees, or of companies, excuse me, they're laying off workers before Christmas. 82% are still paying executive bonuses. 74% admitted that they could have waited. I'm telling you all this so that you aren't shocked if it happens in your corporation. They could have waited, but some are choosing not to because they don't want to pay the bonuses. They want to save on cost, all of that. I mean, it's their right to do so, right? I'm not saying that that's a bad thing on their part, right? At the end of the day, the company needs to make money. But what I am saying is that you need to protect yourself. And there's multiple ways of doing so. Continue to upskill, learn new things, create content, side hustles. All of that will help you to have a better recovery, have a better outlook, work on to something that will give you better opportunities as well. Okay. 95% wages haven't kept up this year. Well, what do you do when your wages from your job isn't keeping up? You find other ways to make money. Only 9% of people got raises this year. 73% can't afford beyond the basics. Gen Z, 25.3% unemployed college grads. Whew, that's a lot of people, man. That's a lot of people. Guys, this is the Daily Climb. You got your options. You got your choices. Now you just need to make them. Keep climbing. I will see you guys tomorrow, 7 a.m. Central. Go out there and crush the day today. It's Tuesday. It is Tuesday. Life Cam, get to see you. Topaz, get to see you. Mr. Streets, get to see you. It says, I'm guessing a lot taught in school is no longer needed for the technology advancements. Yep, you ain't lying about that. A lot taught in school. We realized that a long time ago, though, Mr. Streets. A lot taught in school is no longer needed. I mean, like, you think about all the extra stuff that we've been taught in school. None of that stuff is needed. You know that. Zephyr Matthew, Santander, check it out. Google it. You'll get it to your inbox if you sign up for the newsletter as well. Big Sales, good to see you, my man. Jackie says RTO is so unnecessary. I know, right? Depends on the company that you work for. All right, guys, enjoy your day. We'll talk tomorrow. Bye-bye.